It's time to get lost in the mid-card. This Bleav in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code Bleav. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that won't be ruined by horrible officiating. It's Lost in the Midcard. We promise. We promise it will not be ruined by horrible officiating. We got ourselves Steven Elimination Chambers in the chat. What's up, man? It is Elimination Chamber season. This Saturday, we are going to do our
final
prediction.
Stop.
Yes, the final stop.
Premium live event stop on the road to WrestleMania.
Something like that, yeah. So that's on Saturday. Battle in the Valley also Saturday. A big match has just been signed for that. We will get into that later. Mark Cho, our longtime listener there. What's up, man? How's it going? How you doing? What are the times again? Obviously, the PLEs.
For Battle in the Valley, it starts at 10.
10, so
10 Eastern, so like it's gonna go head to head with the final hour of Elimination Chamber. But I'm assuming the show is probably gonna be like 3 hours, so you're only gonna miss the first, 50 minutes to an hour of Battle in the Valley, and they're not gonna put any of the big important matches on in the first hour.
Oh no.
So
I
don't think it's that big of a deal.
We will go over both cards at the end of the show. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Lost to the Mid-Card. Make sure you are subscribed to our Bleav in Pro Wrestling YouTube channel as we continue to grow. Make sure you follow the show. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, kind of help us get us out into the world. And then the more people that get this show, the more people that can join us live in the chat as we are your officially unofficial Raw lead up. As Raw top of the hour, we'll get into plans from per Sean Ross Sapp of Monday Night Raw. They kind of dropped a little early. I don't know if Sean's busy today or what, but those dropped early. Haven't really changed yet, but we will keep an eye on it, see if there's any changes. Usually by the end of the show, we'll get something for sure. But make sure to subscribe to the Bleav in Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. Also, make sure you follow us on the Twitter. I'm on the Twitter at JB Huskers, and as always, my co-host, Mr. Matt Black, is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. Matt, how's it going today?
It's going, man. Been a crazy week for pro wrestling, and we're gonna talk about all the hate that is being levied between the two companies and all this bullshit. It's
kind of a slow week in terms of news, but yeah, so our lead is kind of interesting. But one more thing to note also, make sure to check out Bleav in Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel for possibly, hopefully tomorrow, a special interview with Rick Ucchino and Juan Montez Ford from the Street Profits, who is in the Elimination Chamber for the first time in his career. So obviously, I think a lot of that interview will probably be centered around that match on Saturday. So make sure to tune in to the YouTube channel and look for that interview. Hopefully drop it tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. Our lead this evening is no, it's not a forbidden door, but wouldn't that be something? But Tony Khan says in an interview in the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz that the tension between WWE and AEW is real. And in an interview, he said, quote, "I can't really comment on what WWE's internal struggles are because I don't work there and I'm not there. I can only speak on challenges we have had. I've had a lot of wrestlers come to me and allege that WWE reached out to them to tamper with their contracts and ask them to break their contracts. I can't confirm that specifically. I can only tell you that what the wrestlers have come to me and said, but I've had multiple wrestlers and staff report to me. It was very disturbing. I've had to go out and try to put on good shows despite this alleged tampering and stuff like that. Frankly, I don't think it stopped us because the quality of the product and the quality of the shows is at an all-time high right now. He continued saying the wrestling business is very dirty. I can't speak to the fight business. Certainly, I think it's more organized than the fight business, but there are two well-organized promotions competing with each other. Again, I don't know if these things have happened. I only know what people have come to me and alleged, but I do know that there is a real war between AEW and WWE, and the fans are interested in it. That was part of the original business model of AEW. I knew wrestling fans, frankly, are very interested in wrestling free agency and wrestling wars. I Bleav we could create a free agent market that is definitely a real thing now, and that would be a big part of the story. I think wrestling fans at the end of the day appreciate that a lot of what happens in wrestling shows is sometimes story, and that's why people like watching the shows. They like the stories and the exciting matches, especially the combination of the two when stories lead to exciting matches and vice versa. Now, what's interesting is the story that is most real, the most intense, and most hatred and all of pro wrestling is that between two wrestling promotions. I think we can truly hate each other. I think it makes for really exciting TV. It makes for an exciting wrestling war. Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's much ado about nothing. I really think these kind of comments do nothing but rile up the tribalism on both sides of WWE and AEW. Have there been issues between the two companies? Of course there have been. Anytime you're going to tamper with somebody's contracts, anytime you're going to go to a New Japan behind AEW's back and try to sever that relationship, yes, there's going to be bad blood, there's going to be bad feelings. But do AEW and WWE truly hate each other? I don't buy it for a second. Both organizations are better because the other one is in it. And a rising tide raises all ships. The only thing that these comments feed to are the people in the tribalism of both sides of WWE and AEW, so they have a new thing to argue and bitch at each other about.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're looking to find the people that you need to avoid, anybody who's going off about these comments from over the weekend, you probably are just better off avoiding them from general conversation when it comes to professional wrestling, because they're toxic. It's absolutely, it's toxic behavior. And you don't need to engage in it. You can enjoy WWE, you can enjoy AEW. The two companies
and we do
are competing with one another. They don't freaking hate each other.
No.
If
they did, Cody would not go to WWE.
It's so freaking stupid.
Yeah.
It just, I really wish, Tony does his best to not, dive into these type of things, but sometimes when he's on the specific podcast and he gets asked a certain question, he can get ramped up and going, and this is a case of that.
Yeah.
But it's much ado about nothing, and there's just, everybody is making it such a bigger deal than it really is. And I just wish wrestling fans would just enjoy the wrestling and stop trying to feed into this drama that they want to exist between these companies. And when comments like these come out, it gives them that fuel to the fire in order to make them feel like they're right in their tribalism. And I fucking hate that, with a passion.
Let's go to a couple questions here in the chat. Steven, Mr. Elimination Chambers, despite Brian Cage's contract close to expiring, FTR in April, in July, Ricky Starks and Wardlow, do you see what AEW will do? Do you guys see what AEW will do?
All right. First things first. I don't Bleav FTR's contracts are expiring in April anymore. I think they've already signed new deals.
Yeah.
I think this is storyline purpose. I know they said they've been given time off TV until their contracts are up. Logically, think about that. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. In my opinion, the Gun Club got their tag titles last week because they're going to drop them to FTR, maybe as early as Revolution, if they do one of those casino tag team battle royals on an episode of Dynamite this week. FTR will be the surprise team, and they're going to win.
Yeah.
So, I don't think FTR is going anywhere, and I don't think Dax started a brand new podcast that he would have to drop in 4 months if he went over to WWE. Brian Cage currently holds the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles and has done some of his best work with the company within the last 3 to 6 months. I don't see Tony after signing his extension last year when he wasn't doing anything. I don't see Tony just willingly let Brian Cage go. As far as Ricky Starks and Wardlow go, I have not heard that their contracts expire in July, but those are two names that I don't Bleav AEW would let go of without a fight. I think WWE would be interested in both of them. But I don't see that happening. And like I said, I have not heard that July date anywhere. Like, this is news to me. So I'm gonna say everybody you have listed here remains with AEW.
Yeah, I'd assume
So I mean, we'll see where it goes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think these are all people that will stay with the company.
A few months ago, you kind of wondered about Brian Cage, but he's been featured a lot more recently now, and he has a title right now with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So I would assume that Tony wants him to continue to be the focal point of that group down in Ring of Honor, possibly with Prince Nana and the Embassy. Obviously, Ricky Starks is one of the hottest singles wrestlers in AEW right now. He ain't going anywhere. Wardlow is a hot commodity, another future guy that you can build around. Is going to be a world champion in the next year or two. You're not going to let him go either. Bell in the chat. Hey guys, this is partly why I can't buy anything TK says, and puts it down to whether he is partying with Matt Riddle or something. Hey, partying with Matt Riddle ain't a bad thing. Frantic World, what's up, man?
I'm not sure I understand the comment, but all right.
I want AEW or WWE to work with AEW for a Forbidden Door pay-per-view. That would be kind of that would definitely burn the internet down.
It would be very freaking cool. And look, in the professional wrestling industry, never say never. You know how, the famous tagline.
Yeah.
But I don't see that being in either company's future plans for the current time being. I think AEW pretty much works with every other company but WWE right now, and that's probably how it's going to stay for a while.
AEW
not.
No, I don't either. I don't even know if they get a rematch. I mean, AEW doesn't really have automatic rematches.
Yeah, ALW asks, you don't think the Acclaim win the belts back at Revolution? I absolutely do not. I think they wanted to put the titles back on FTR, and they knew doing that with, having them beat the Acclaimed would be probably a bad thing for both of those teams. And I think the Gun Club were essentially just nothing more than a transitional champion to put the titles back on FTR.
Yeah, and I said this back when FTR still had all the titles. I said they're going to go on a losing streak, and then because one of the title that they didn't hold when they held all those titles was the AEW tag team titles. So I said this several months ago. That was the plan of what they were going to do with FTR, and it's turning out to be completely the exact thing that I said, because obviously when Gun Club beat FTR, and that was the last time we saw FTR, there you go. So I think that's pretty obvious. Moving on, more AEW news to kick off things here. There's Tony Khan, and Tony Khan also recently did an interview, an appearance on the John Chuckery show. Never heard of that guy, but John Chuckery.
Never heard of him either.
What a name, Chuckery. Discussing the pay-per-view model and if there's going to be any streaming services. And Tony Khan says, quote, well, we've been able to really make the events keep that super special feel. While there's so much anticipation building up to Revolution, Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, now of course All Out in full gear, I think the current model that we have, which is a la carte pay-per-view, true pay-per-view like many of us grew up with, makes a lot of sense. The price is about $49.99. If somebody's going to give us that $49.99, I'd like them to feel like they're getting a show that they really looked forward to for a long time and are getting maximum value. There are different ways to deliver shows now in the streaming economy, but I think in this current setup, we have a great calendar. If the delivery method changed or streaming enters the conversation for AEW, because an AEW streaming platform is something I get asked about every day. I think for us now, the way we're doing the pay-per-view makes sense. But if a right offer came along on streaming to expand the calendar, that's something we have the capacity to do. I would not only want to do it if we can make sure that we keep Revolution, Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, All Out, Full Gear as premium top-end events like they are now. And, what I say to that is, I mean, it's obvious. WWE has done the same thing for many years, ever since they switched to the WWE Network in 2014. You still have WrestleMania big. You still have the Royal Rumble big. SummerSlam is still big. Survivor Series finally kind of getting back to that big feeling. Money in the Bank has now kind of been that fifth major. So it is, you can still have that major feel with these pay-per-views when you have a monthly model like WWE has. Do you agree?
I think what he was getting at is if they start a streaming service, he's open to doing monthly like specials type things. But I think he wants to keep those big 4/5 pay-per-views that he has out of that streaming cycle. I think he wants to keep those at their $50 price point, despite eventually getting some sort of a streaming service for the company. That's how I took what he said. So maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I read what he said. That he is open to adding like additional quote unquote pay-per-views to this network or streaming service or whatever they would end up calling it. But he wants to keep the big five, he wants to keep those on like traditional pay-per-view. That's how I understood it anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of the way to take it too. I guess you could go either way with that, but I don't know if he meant to keep it like that as in $49.99 or to keep them as important as they are now. So that's kind of something maybe we'd have to follow up with him on that though. Of course, winning the 2023 Royal Rumble was that guy pointing at the sign, Mr. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes recently did an interview on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani and welcomes the idea of having a triple threat at WrestleMania. He was asked between who he'd want to face between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. He says, kayfabe, Cody says, I really don't have a preference, solely because I want to wrestle the best. People wanted a contender forever, so if two show up, don't be mad. Don't make it about A or B or B or A or one or two. Enjoy it all. That's kind of really been the challenge. I can't begrudge a dude for getting super hot. I have no preference in terms of the direction that it goes. I really look forward to the moments where if I'm in there, if they happen, Sammy, whether it's just the road to WrestleMania or because I think it's different than people think. I think he's doing amazing. So yeah, bring it all together. Hey, who knows? Who knows what happens in Montreal? Who knows what happens at WrestleMania? One of the reasons I keep serene, peace, and calm is because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not the executive vice president. I still think some people think I've got that EVP stroke. I barely had it in the first place. Like I said, I want to play quarterback. I want to get in the game, and I want to compete for that position. If something crazy happens on Saturday, Matt, would you welcome a triple threat match between Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, and Cody?
Happening.
I'm asking you, what if?
It's not happening. Cody Rhodes is look. Bryan Danielson said this about Cody about a year and a half ago in an interview. Cody Rhodes is a tremendous liar. He's very good at lying. I don't believe for one fucking second that Cody Rhodes would openly welcome this singles match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania to be turned into a triple threat. He's going to say what Sami Zayn's fan base wants to hear on the MMA Hour. And I watched this show live, by the way. I watched this interview took place.
Yeah.
But there's no freaking way that he wants that to happen. He wants a singles match with Roman Reigns. Sami and KO are facing the Usos. Like, after the Elimination Chamber, this will all be very clear.
Yeah.
And everybody can move on from this.
It is a fun one.
Debate.
It is a fun what if, though, because you've had it happen. You've had it happen before with guys getting hot during WrestleMania.
Yeah, but those guys got hot when the opponent for the champion was cold.
Yeah.
Cody ain't fucking cold, man.
No.
Cody's white hot. And arguably, after his segment with Heyman last week, is hotter than Zayn is now.
Bell in the chat. At least we know Jay is showing up at Elimination Chamber, but respect to Cody for addressing the red-headed elephant in the room. Yes, sounds like Jay is going to be cleared to go to Canada. Jimmy has a lot more offenses. I can't remember.
Jimmy ain't going.
Yeah.
But Jay
Jimmy's
did appear on the September 30th episode of SmackDown from Winnipeg. Jimmy, of course, was not there, but Jay was. So I think that should clear up any, issues about him being there, because he's crucial to that storyline on Saturday.
Especially after, especially with what happened on Friday on SmackDown, with supposedly no one around, but at the same time, I think Roman has a television, so, and Heyman let him know that too, that somebody has a TV and can watch SmackDown live, even if he's not at the arena. Even though WWE likes to make it look like sometimes,
I like for the first time ever, WWE actually acknowledged that people in their company watch the product.
Yeah, because
bravo, we've been asking for this for years.
Yeah, because otherwise these guys act like they're dumb and don't watch TV, and so what happens on camera, it just didn't happen because they weren't in the room. So it's kind of funny how they got that done. Moving along, WWE 2K23 is very close to be releasing here, within almost a month away now. And today, 2K and WWE released the entire roster of WWE superstars and NXT superstars who will grace the video game. And for the very first time, Bad Bunny, who is a pre-order bonus, the Creed brothers, Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa, Braun Breaker, and Leviathan will be playable for the very first time ever. Of course, Leviathan, that was Batista in OVW, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah, but that's only for the Icon edition.
Yeah, I think it's called the Ruthless Aggression pack or something.
Yeah, the Ruthless Aggression pack, yep.
Brock Lesnar 01.
Which I'm not getting.
You get Brock Lesnar 01, the Prototype, John Cena, Randy Orton 02, and Leviathan.
How they thought that was worth an additional $20, I'll never fucking understand.
I guess
that sucks. At least last year they gave us the damn NWO. This year they give us that trash. No, thank you. I will keep my extra $20.
I guess if you're an OVW mark, maybe, I don't know.
All four of them.
Yeah. What did you think of the roster that was unveiled here?
I think it's a lot more complete than I was expecting.
A lot of people.
To be perfectly honest. I mean, look, really the only people they're truly missing, like beyond NXT, like let's not even talk about NXT. Let's just talk main roster. Everybody that they're mainly missing are people that came back within the last 4 to 6 months. Bray Wyatt, the Good Brothers, Candice LeRae, Mia Yim, Bronson Reed. These are all people that have just come back. And honestly, everybody with the exception of Bronson Reed, I think will probably be DLC. They've got 5 DLC packs with already a very, very complete looking roster, when push comes to shove. I definitely expect Wyatt, the Good Brothers, Candice LeRae, and Mia Yim to be involved in the DLC. I expect to see an NXT presence in the DLC. I'm sure we're going to get some legends like the Steiner brothers. I think we're going to get some new women. Tori Wilson was recently added to Supercard within the last 6 months. And normally, a lot of times, you can look to Supercard adding new people that they haven't used before as an idea of who 2K is going to eventually add into their game. The same thing happened with Stacy Keibler last year. So I'm guessing Tori Wilson will probably be DLC. I think we're going to get some pretty damn good. I think we're going to get some pretty damn good DLC from them this year. And I just hope the universe mode is as good as everybody's hyping it up to be. Yeah. Because to me, that's where all my replay value is going to be. If they've truly made that mode fun, I'm going to be super freaking excited about, getting some replay out of this game this year until AEW Fight Forever comes out.
ALW in the chat, AEW Fight Forever per GameStop is set for release on 12/31/23. Anytime you see a video game release on 12/31/23 or any 12/31, it's a placeholder.
Yeah, look, I worked at GameStop for a decade. I managed stores. for GameStop. Yes, a 12/31 date at the end of any video game release is a placeholder date. It's literally just put in the computer so GameStop can take pre-orders for it.
Yep.
I'm still look.
There's updates on this.
Gun to my head, and I have to be right. AEW Fight Forever will come out in May of this year.
Yeah, there's rumblings that we're going to get an update on the release date very soon. So,
well, the game is being featured this Friday on IGN Fest, and this will really be the first time we've seen anything of substance from this game in months. So, I truly I would not be shocked if we get the release date on Friday, and I think it's going to be May.
Stephen Chambers in the chat. AEW video game delaying more times than waiting for Veer to come. Should have said come, not debut.
well, look. They had the ESRB issues. They're worked out. It's officially rated T. They got the T rating that they wanted. The game's essentially done. Now all we need to do is just worry about proper marketing. And trying to put it out right now would be absolute game suicide. You don't put it out right now when everybody's looking at 2K23. You release it afterwards. April seems kind of weird because you're still in that WrestleMania season, like 2K23 honeymoon period. You release it in May, right around the time Double or Nothing happens. You coincide it with that pay-per-view, and I think it's gonna be really good. I think we're gonna get two. I think we have a chance of getting two really good wrestling video games this year. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Ooh. Big match announced for Saturday, and I'm not talking about Elimination Chamber. I'm talking about Battle in the Valley, as Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi, two New Japan legends, are going to clash for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Of course, Okada took on Takagi at a New Beginning, which was that last weekend, Matt, or a couple weeks ago?
I think it was Friday night, Saturday morning, our time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it started like Saturday morning at like 3 a.m. So, and honestly, I forgot it was on, or I would have covered it live for WrestleZone.
Yeah.
And I completely blanked on it. My last week was very hectic, and I didn't even think about it until the next morning when I saw the headlines about Jay White doing a job to Hikuleo. So
yeah, because we all knew that was coming. And earlier in the evening, Tanahashi defeated Kenta, so it's going to set up that big title. We'll run down the card here at the end of the show. It's a good card. It's going to be a great show. And so a good, like Matt said, probably get a couple of the matches that we don't care about out of the way while Elimination Chamber closes up. Then we'll switch over.
There are some matches on that show that I'm just like, why is this here?
Do you do you think Eddie Kingston will be okay for Saturday?
Yeah, dude, they're keeping him. They're keeping him off the indie dates to make sure he's okay for Saturday.
Okay.
He's not missing that match with Jay White. There's no freaking way. He'll work that match injured if he had to. That's just what Eddie Kingston does.
Yeah, he was supposed to wrestle at the Defy pay-per-view this past weekend. I can't remember who he was supposed to fight, but he was out due to injury there. So
yeah, I think it was done more as a precaution than anything else, because let's face it, when it comes to AEW contracted talent, there's a pecking order of responsibility. It's AEW first, New Japan second, and everything else comes last.
Exactly.
So if you got a date and you're banged up or whatever, Tony's gonna wrestle on the side of caution, and he's just gonna pull you out. And that's all it was. I think everything's gonna be fine. A lot of hype for Hogwarts Legacy in the chat room tonight.
Yeah, we got Bella
about it.
Bella in the chat. All these wrestling games. Meanwhile, I'll be here with Hogwarts going Slytherin, and then Charles in the chat. Hogwarts Legacy is so good. 20-something hours into it and playing it now. I have not watched a single Harry Potter movie. I've not read a single Harry Potter book. I've been told I don't need to play this game, so maybe I will.
Apparently, according to Mark Cho, it's a prequel. I've seen all the movies.
100 years. It's 100
I've
years.
seen all the movies. I haven't read any of the books.
There's
But
Mark show
yeah,
right there.
like look, if I'm bored at some point this summer, and for some reason both wrestling games end up shitting the bed, and I need an entertaining game to buy, I might pick it up. You know, everybody is who's played it and saying like really good shit about it. So
Yeah.
I'll give it. Like I said, I like the movies. I'd give the game a whirl. Why the hell not?
Yeah, my buddy of mine says he's gonna let me borrow it sometime down the road, so I'll probably just do that instead of buying it. Steven Chambers, $19.99. That's not a bad price for Battle in the Valley. Let's go ahead and go to that card right now since we've been talking New Japan. A couple of matches in the pre-show. David Finlay and Bobby Fish and JR Kratos and Alex Coughlin are gonna take on each other there. A couple of matches in the pre-show. Is that pre-show start at 10 Eastern?
I'm assuming the pre-show starts at 9.
Okay.
That's my assumption. I don't know that for 100% fact, but I'm assuming the pre-show would be at 9. So if anybody in the chat can confirm or deny that, I would appreciate it.
Some good talent in an 8-man tag match that will probably be one of the opening matches. Mascara Dorada, Josh Alexander from Impact, Adrian Quest, and Rocky Romero are going to take on Kushida, Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, and the DKC. So that's going to be
that feels like a match they'd open the show with. And like that's no disrespect to some great talent that they have in there, but like I'm not buying Battle in the Valley to see that match. I'm buying it to see Mercedes and Kairi, and I'm buying it to see Okada and Tanahashi. Like that, those are like, and of course like Kingston and White. Like those are the three. Those are the three big matches that I really want to see, and I can't imagine them putting any of those matches on in the first hour of the show. I just can't see it.
Strong Openweight Championship title match. Your champion, Fred Rosser, against Kenta. Kenta, of course, just lost to Tanahashi. Do you think Kenta loses again?
That should be really good.
Mm-hmm. Fred Rosser coming to GCW, too, on Mania weekend.
That's a coin flip, man. I'm not sure who they're gonna have when that Rosser's been on fire in New Japan Strong.
He's kind of building himself up, kind of like Juice Robinson did through New Japan.
I agree. I feel like he's really coming into his own.
Yeah.
Like that's a coin flip, brother. That one's too close to call for me. I honestly could see that going either way.
Tag team match for the Strong Openweight tag titles. The Machine Guns will take on the West Coast Wrecking Crew, which is Jorel Nelson. I don't know much about him, and Royce Isaacs. I do know him from NWA. I would assume the Machine Guns probably retain those. Jay White, Eddie Kingston. Well, Jay White's on his way out the door, so I think that's pretty obvious if that Eddie's going to win that, don't you think, Matt?
Well, we think Jay White's on his way out the door, and if he truly is,
Swerve!
Yes, Kingston should go over. But it would not be the first time that a professional wrestling company has swerved us.
Right.
So, like, I'm not going to 100% roll out that somehow Jay White wins this match. I think Kingston wins, and I think White will eventually go on to join AEW or WWE. But, like, I'm not rolling out in New Japan and White gets something done in the 12th hour, so to speak. I mean, they've had such a great relationship over the years. I think it's kind of wild to see White ready to leave and go somewhere else.
Everybody sure as shit had him penciled in the Royal Rumble. That didn't happen.
It wasn't up yet.
This probably a first hour match that you may have to go back and watch if you're watching the Chamber. Filthy Rules fight between Tom Lawler and Homicide. I think that'll be at least a very entertaining match to watch with no DQ and stuff like that. I think we'll have a lot of fun watching that. I'm assuming that Lawler's probably going to win that one. I mean, it is his own rules, so be kind of a shame if he lost his own rules, right?
That would be something.
Television Championship, Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Clark Connors. I don't think we're going to get a change there, do you, Matt?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Then the two big ones, IWGP Women's Title, Kyrie against Mercedes Moné. I mean, we don't know what Mercedes' plans are. So, well, a lot of people had penciled her into AEW already, and she's not there. So, Kyrie, obviously the inaugural winner of this title. Are they really going to take it off of her right now for somebody that may not be locked into New Japan? I don't know, but she's got a lot of value. So if she wins that title, there's a lot of press that's going to have her name and New Japan's name together. So this is really it's not as obvious as it seems, in my opinion. What do you see?
I think it really comes down to what her long-term commitments are going to be.
Yeah.
Like if she's going to sign with AEW, you put the title on her.
Yeah.
Because you have that working relationship with AEW, and AEW is not going to like dick New Japan around. They're going to let her use. They're going to let her use Mercedes anytime they want.
She can bring that shiny new title onto Wednesday nights, man.
Yeah, but if she's not interested in signing anywhere, you got to be a little worried, a little iffy.
Yeah.
About putting this brand new title that you're trying to establish on her. Yes, it's a great idea to put the title on her, and I think that they should, but they just need to make sure that she's locked in some shape or form before doing so. You don't want to put the title on her and then her all of a sudden be like, "Oh, I want to go back to WWE." That would be a disaster for New Japan's advancement of women's wrestling in their company. And I don't know if they'd ever get it back because I think that would destroy everything.
You think she would go to WWE?
Look, I can't rule anything out. I can't. Look, as long as Naomi's still out there, I feel like those two are going to end up somewhere together. So until one of them officially signs on the dotted line somewhere else, I can't rule out that eventually they might return to WWE together.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just if I'm New Japan, I'm looking for some kind of commitment from Mercedes, and if they can get that by Saturday, I'd put the title on her.
All right,
but it's that commitment to me. The commitment is key.
I agree. ALW Filthy Tom is great. I've enjoyed
his
matches in GCW and MLW. I Bleav he was there for a long time.
Yeah, he was there for a while.
That's where he made his name there. ALW also agreeing that Mercedes wins here. It's that's got to be the co-main event and the main event.
I agree.
Kazuchika
it was
Okada,
the main event until this got announced.
Yeah. Kazuchika Okada is defending his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi has not held a world title since 2019 when he took it at Wrestle Kingdom 13. That's when he beat Kenny Omega. So it's been a while for Tanahashi to hold that belt.
It's going to be a while longer.
I was going to say
he's not beating Okada on Saturday.
Yeah, Okada has only held that belt since Wrestle Kingdom, so it's not been that long.
I don't see any possible way Okada drops that title Saturday. I don't see that being possible.
Yeah. Before we go into television this week, make sure you are subscribed to Bleav in Pro Wrestling. Just all you got to do is to just hit subscribe, and then that's all you got to do, and hit the bell icon, and see that way you know every time we go live or post a new video, because there's possibility a new interview may be coming your way on our channel here tomorrow, as Riccucino had a recent interview with a member of the Elimination Chamber, Montez Ford, who's going to make his chamber debut in that match. So definitely going to be some interesting stuff there to check out. So make sure you are subscribed to us here on the YouTube. We appreciate it. Moving into our television, we start Monday Night Raw last week. We kicked things off with Edge and Beth Phoenix. Judgment Day interrupting as well. We're going to get ourselves a mixed tag match at the Chamber here. We'll get into that a little more once we get to our Chamber predictions there. Then we got Angelo Dawkins, Damian Priest, a qualifier match for the Chamber itself. Very good match. Dawkins, again, looking like he could be a single star, right, Matt?
The thing with the Street Profits is it seems that the company's going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep them together. Now we're thinking about splitting them. Now we want to keep them together. Now we want to split them. For the longest time, I was really worried about how Dawkins would be portrayed if they split them up.
Mm-hmm.
But the way Dawkins has been over the last, I'd say 2.5 months, has left me to feel like if they do split this team up, Dawkins is going to be all right.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know if I keep them on the same brand, or I might even like swap brands, like one on one, one on the other, just so they can stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah.
But if WWE is insistent on splitting the Street Profits right now, I think now is probably the first time in a while that I feel like Dawkins wouldn't be getting the short end of the stick.
Chelsea Green coming in to complain about her dressing room and not being in the Elimination Chamber match. I think Chelsea Green has been doing a great job with this gimmick so far. You agree?
Look, if anybody's going to pull this gimmick off, it seems like Chelsea Green has the comedic and acting chops to do it.
Yeah.
Because when I first heard about this, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
But so far, so good. And hopefully she can continue making it work to the best of her abilities going forward. I'm sure we'll see her at some point on Raw tonight.
And internal WWE internal reaction has been very positive as well about her performance so far in WWE. Dexter Lumis smoking Baron Corbin in a very short match, which led to the breakup of him and JBL, which we will not miss JBL at all, will we?
Not even a little bit.
And he even liked a tweet from a fan saying that they would like to see him go back to bum-ass Corbin. Maybe bum.
It was his best character.
Yeah. Yeah. So we may get a return of bum ass Corbin. You never know. Brock Lesnar coming out. Jesus. Oh man, Brock just being Brock, which has been a great thing to see ever since he kind of was able to just be himself on the microphone and such, and be without Paul Heyman mainly is what kind of led him to be him. And another entertaining segment with him, and then Bobby Lashley coming out, and we got back the Bobby Who's are coming back as well, and just a lot of fun. And the 4 or 5 hours later with Sable just popped me, didn't it, Matt?
Look, as long as this leads to the Hurt Business getting back together in Montreal and beating the piss out of Brock Lesnar, I'm good with it.
Yeah. Oh, what a funny segment though between those guys. Piper Niven, Carmella Michin, and Candice LeRae in Elimination Chamber qualifying match that was won by Carmella, as I predicted. It's good to see her back, and all that she's went through to get back, also to get back to wrestling after what she went through. I think it was the right call to put Carmella in that chamber match as well. The precursor to the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander with MVP came out, took on the Alpha Academy, defeated the Alpha Academy. So there's step one for the business getting back into business. Chelsea demanding that she has a match to prove herself, and unfortunately, that person she had to face was Asuka. Didn't go good. Didn't go well for Karen. Poor Karen.
Nobody's ready for Asuka.
No, especially now.
Especially when Triple H is booking her.
And I mean, not much to say about this, but my God, that segment with Cody and Paul Heyman was just pure magic, wasn't it?
Masterful.
And that's the beauty.
That was an absolutely perfect segment.
That's the beauty of it under Triple H. A lot of that was not scripted. Paul was not expecting. From what I heard, Paul never knew how much that ECW stuff meant to Dusty. In terms of,
from my understanding, like Heyman and Cody both wrote their own lines for that.
Yeah.
like that. Like they knew ahead of time, like basically what they were gonna do, but like this wasn't something that creative wrote for them. They wrote this themselves,
Yeah.
and they knocked it out of the damn park.
I agree with
So
Steven Chambers. Bring back the Lone Wolf. I liked the Lone Wolf in NXT, Baron Corbin.
I'd prefer broke ass bum ass Corbin over
ALW,
Lone
I
Wolf.
believe Edge and Beth are cutting each other's hair. That's the only way they can have such bad hairdos.
Wow, my God, that's a burial.
Another vote for the Lone Wolf to come back.
I disagree.
Brock is truly one of a kind. Yes,
He's something.
gonna have sex with Sable for 4 to 5 hours, and then think about Bobby. Assuming Trish coming back tonight to get a 6-woman tag against Damage Control. What do you think, Matt?
That is the rumor. Well, we'll see how accurate that turns out to be tonight.
Yeah. Montez Ford in a lot longer match than I expected to win about 10 minutes against Elias. Ford in the chamber. That's going to be a lot of fun. And steel cage match, pretty good steel cage match to main event the show with Bailey and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch getting the win there, thanks to Lita making the big return, of course, which just prompted what we had there. NXT, anything stand out to you in NXT except for the end? What did you think about the old? They did tease like what I said.
The barbershop.
Yeah, but they did tease what I said, where I thought they may go after Damage Control. They just teased that though, because yes, we had a recreation of the barbershop window with JC Jane. What were your thoughts on that?
I'm begging Shawn Michaels to come up with something new creatively that wasn't from a pinpoint of his career. It's Stand and Deliver. I'm imagining that Braun Breaker's going to come down on a zip line. Like, for the love of God, can we get something original out of this brand? Like, I felt like Vengeance Day for the most part was a step in the right direction, and then I felt like their show Tuesday night was like 5 steps backwards. It was not a good show at all. Like,
I did not watch. I honestly
know what they were thinking.
I was gone Tuesday, and I'd been busy all week, and then obviously
you didn't miss shit.
Super Bowl Sunday, and I was busy Saturday. I just never got. I never got time to watch NXT. I didn't get Rampage in either. So such is life. Moving on to SmackDown this Friday. We kick off with Paul Heyman cutting a promo, and he tells the crowd that Sami Zayn is not there tonight. And it didn't take long for Sami Zayn to prove Paul wrong. What did you think of the exchange between Zayn and Heyman there, Matt?
I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining, but I didn't even think it was close to being on the level of what Heyman and Cody did on Monday.
And I don't think they were trying to. I don't think they were trying to at all. Sheamus and Drew took on Hit Row. Hit Row has just been not doing so well ever since Top Dollar flopped over the top rope. They lose in 3 minutes to the honorary Brute and the leading Brute, I guess you could say. And then we cut to Jimmy trying to get a hold of his brother Jay, because they got a big tag team title match later on in the night with Braun Strowman and Ricochet. We got Lacey Evans for some reason, and we got Jay still trying to get a hold of Jimmy still trying to get a hold of Jay. No luck. And Solo couldn't even get a hold of him either. I figured if Jimmy can't get a hold of him, I doubt Solo could get a hold of him either. Sonya Deville complaining to Adam Pearce, and Chelsea shows up asking to speak. Wanted to know who the manager was at SmackDown, because she has a complaint to file with the manager of Raw. And if you watch both shows, you know those are both Adam Pearce, which made that funny as hell.
She has facial amnesia, JB. Facial amnesia.
That's one for the medical books right there. Jimmy enters the arena all by himself, just as Samantha Irwin was going to announce him as battling for the tag titles by himself. Jimmy notices that Jay is making the Shield entrance down the steps.
Jay stole Roman's entrance.
And so then they hug because brothers hug, and then they took on Braun and Ricochet in a very entertaining tag match, but no surprise that Usos retained there. We are, looks like we are getting solidifying evidence here on the next segment that Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey going to probably take those tag titles from Damage Control eventually as they beat up Natalya and Shotzi.
WrestleMania.
I loved the Sammy sneaking up by the semi-trailers talking to Jay. But then as we said before, Roman actually watches TV unlike the rest of the roster. So that led to Paul Heyman telling the Usos they can stay home this Saturday at Elimination Chamber, which we all know. Well, one may not be staying home, will he?
I don't think so.
Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green complained, and then they had to become a tag team together to face Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, and it didn't go well for them.
I don't hate that tag team though.
Sonya and Chelsea?
Yeah.
Or Raquel and Liv?
Sonya and Chelsea.
Yeah, well,
yeah, I don't hate that combination. I think they work well together.
They're both good at complaining.
They're both good in the ring too.
Charlotte Flair interview, and then the main event: Karrion Kross, Madcap Moss, Santos Escobar, and Rey Mysterio, #1 contender for the IC. I'm pretty happy. I like that Madcap got the win there. I'm a big fan of Madcap, so we all know he's going to lose. So I mean, nobody's going to beat Gunther next week. So.
Yeah, the only good part of him winning is we get to see him get smashed by Gunther on Friday.
Moving on to AEW here, as we are almost to the top of the hour with Monday Night Raw at the top of the hour here. We kick things off with MJF and Konosuke Takeshita, and man, I mean, what a match! And Takeshita, man, that guy is just a special talent, isn't he?
Yeah. Honestly, I think if he would have stayed in Japan, I think he would have eventually found himself in New Japan, and I think he would have ended up being the next Okada over there. I think AEW was very, very lucky to have him, and I think he's going to be a very big star for that company in the years to come.
After the match, MJF busted Takeshita open with the dynamite diamond ring, and then Bryan Danielson making the save a little too late. Jeez, Bryan, what were you doing? Jamie Hayter taking on the Bunny. Was this title match or Eliminator? I can't remember.
Eliminator.
Hayter with the win. A little sloppy ending there. Hopefully Bunny did not get hurt. I have not heard anything since, so I'm assuming she's okay.
They're pretty sure she's hurt.
Oh boy.
That's why the match was stopped. They went to the finish. Like that match was slotted for a lot more time than it ended up going. So yeah, the rumor is that she might have either a concussion or a broken orbital bone or both.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I don't foresee that we'll be seeing the Bunny Alley on AEW programming anytime soon.
MJF showing what kind of scumbag he is by upping the scumbag level, telling us a story about him and this lady who was giving him a little road love, and how they crashed the car and she died, and then he picked her up and put her in the driver's seat. What a great man MJF is, huh?
Yeah, and I like to take back what I said earlier. It will not be Braun Breaker on the zip line and stand and deliver. It will be Carmelo Hayes. So there we go.
That'd be funny if that happens. I'll laugh and tag Matt when I'm laughing.
He's gonna win the title, and Sean's gonna instruct the commentators to yell, "The boyhood dream for Carmelo Hayes has come true."
The Garcia Guevara gauntlet match did not go as planned, as Jericho showed up and caused Starks to lose. But obviously,
this all sucked.
We're gonna leading to Jericho and Garcia at Revolution, don't you think?
Which I don't understand why Ricky wants to face him again. He already beat him.
I know.
Like I don't like this storyline to me doesn't make any sense. I hope to God they get the stupid match done at Revolution and they move Ricky on to something else. Because the main problem with Jericho's stories in AEW is they outstay their welcome every freaking time. They're great for the first few months and then they go for 5 or 6. Like, I'm hoping this ends at Revolution and both men can find something to do afterwards.
Yeah. Danielson got locked in, but he eventually busted through so he could face Roosh and beat him in a great 15-minute match between those guys.
Was awesome.
Bryan Danielson, wrestler of the year already. I don't know if anybody's going to beat him at this point with the matches he's putting out this year. That's going to be hard to do. Then we got a great Trios championship match with the Elite beating Top Flight and AR Fox. That was another great match. Tremendous. And then, of course, the thing that went over like a fart in church. The Guns are your new AEW Tag Team Champions, but don't fret, it won't be for long. And so heading into Dynamite this Wednesday, we are going to get Hangman Page and Kip Sabian. Mark Briscoe taking on Josh Woods. That'll be fun to see. Brian Cage taking on Jungle Jack Perry. Wardlow's going to have a sit-down interview with Jim Ross. Renee Paquette's going to speak with Adam Cole, baby. MJF is contractually obligated to appear. What happens? Who knows? Orange Cassidy, the Acclaimed, and Daddy Ass taking on Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Moxley and Claudio taking on Roosh and Preston Vance in a good old-fashioned Texas Tornado match.
I don't love the Dynamite card on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't love it at all. I feel like this is being done because they're going to start saving the good matches for the pay-per-view in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to do some really good shit between the matches, like, to make this a good show. Because I do not love this card put together for Dynamite this week.
Ooh, Matt's going to love that.
Very lackluster.
I know Matt loves this match right here.
Can a nuke drop in the ring and everybody loses?
Right, exactly. So we got 3 minutes till Raw. Let's quickly go through Elimination Chamber and what's going on with Raw tonight. Becky Lynch is going to be there. Profits and Judgment Day. We got the contract signing between Lesnar and Lashley. Meechin taking on Piper Niven. Baron Corbin taking on Cody Rhodes. Asuka, Carmella, and Nikki Cross taking on Natalya, Raquel, and Liv in a 6-woman match of the women who are in the chamber. Mustafa Ali, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins is on Miz TV. Rick Boogs against the Miz. Some spoilers. Wendy Chu and Braun Breaker are on main event. The dark main event is Rollins and Theory. Let's see. All the other stuff we'll we'll save for later on spoilers there. Only 4 matches on the card right now for Elimination Chamber. Obviously, there's going to be a couple more official ones after tonight and SmackDown on Friday. Mixed tag match, Edge Beth Phoenix against Judgment Day. Matt, who do you got?
I don't see them wanting Rhea Ripley to lose.
Nope.
Heading into WrestleMania, I feel like the Judgment Day have to win this.
I agree. I fully agree.
Because the rumor is they wanted to do Edge and Balor at the Royal Rumble in Hell in a Cell. I'm assuming they're just going to bump that and do that at Mania instead.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like Judgment Day has to go over for Rhea's WrestleMania storyline to remain strong.
And we both expect Roman Reigns to retain against Wikipedia still says Sammy Uso. Unless somebody just changed it, I don't know.
Reigns retains, obviously.
Raw Women's title, number 1 contender, Elimination Chamber, Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, Carmella. We're both on the same page because we both called this in advance. Asuka.
Yeah, it's got to be Asuka. Has to be.
Elimination Chamber match for the U.S. title, Austin Theory, Rollins, Gargano, Bronson Reed, Priest, and Montez Ford. I am going to go Montez Ford, shocking the world.
I think if Theory doesn't retain, the only logical answer is Seth Rollins. But I think Theory's gonna squeak out of there with the title.
That Weasel probably will.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Lost the Midcard. It's almost time for Monday Night Raw, so
Hope for a good show.
let's well, on top of that, it's now 7:00, so let you guys get to Raw. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. We will be back at you next Monday live, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, with our Battle in the Valley and Elimination Chamber thoughts, and see what happens. Have yourselves a good evening. Don't forget, we are brought to you and bought to you too by Bet Online.